Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and professional witch, and today I'm answering the question, how do I read tarot intuitively? Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. I'm just realizing that all of the announcements and offers I have to share are all about intuition and intuitive tarot. So we're going to think about that lens as I go through this. So, if you love the show, the best way to support it is by listening daily, leaving a review, subscribing and following in your favorite podcast app, but also sharing with anyone you know that might be interested in tarot or exploring what tarot can do for them. I'm offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course starting soon at the end of September. We'll be deep diving into the first 12 of the major arcana cards together as we embody archetypes, learn how to transform ourselves through the tarot. And this will be a very intuitive practice. I'm going to be using Drea Bloom's Tarot for Transformation tome. It is quite a large book. To reflect on each card, one per week, where we're going to think about the archetype of the Fool, the Empress, who else? The Magician, some of those first 12 tarot cards, and think about, how can I bring this into my daily life? What does the Fool have to share with me intuitively, right? How can I tap into how I think of being a beginner at something, of being able to handle some amount of risk and not knowing what the future holds. So if any of that sounds good, please check out the details in the show notes. If you're interested in crafting your own tarot cards and doing some creativity, and again, using your intuition to create how you imagine each tarot card to be for you, through sort of like the style of soul collaging, where you get materials and you sort of, again, pick from what's there, what's available, what calls out to you, and collage through this kind of transformative process. I have a full hour-long workshop with my step-by-step method, the cards I've created, all sorts of examples, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you through it. So there's a link in the show notes if you want to purchase that. So again, all of these are different ways to tap into sort of your intuition. If you want more of me and the podcast, you want to support financially, you can join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the Lovers level, which is $6.66 a month. And if you do so, you will get a card pulled for you every month live on the new moon collective tarot reading that I do. So I start by talking about the new moon, talking about sort of the attributes being called in, what we're creating or seeding or thinking about, what we're manifesting for the new moon. Then I do a collective tarot reading where I pull cards that are applicable to, I think, everyone and what everyone's going through at the moment. And then after that, I pull individual cards, one per patron. So if you want a card pulled for you live every month, where you can either watch it live or watch it later on YouTube or on my Instagram, you can check that out and join the Lovers level on the podcast. If you're like, I love that and I want more readings of myself, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits and all of the different workbooks. You can get you can get my workshop on doing virtual tarot card creation, any other workbooks that I create, which right now are crafting intuitively. I also have pagan and polyamory. I'm going to be releasing some of the materials from Tarot for Transformation after we kind of go through it live. If you want to support me in that way, go to the Patreon, the Everyday Tarot Patreon family. You can check out the latest New Moon Collective Tarot reading I did. There will also be one coming up in a couple days on Probably I'm going to do it on the 22nd, the Monday after the new moon. And if you're local to me, you can of course join my meetup group or come to the full moon women's circles that I'm holding for the rest of 2025. My colleague and I, Izzy, under the glow of the full moon, where we have an evening of connection, reflection, and ritual. So if you are in person and you want to either meet other folks that do tarot or other witchy folks that are into celebrating the full moon, you can check out those offers. Our upcoming dates for the full moon women's circles are October 5th, November 2nd, and December 7th. If you're just getting started, you want to see what's ahead for you in 2025, you can get my 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for my lovely listeners at the beginning of this year by joining my newsletter list. You'll get weekly newsletters all about my upcoming events, presentations, musings, info and photos of my day-to-day life. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I am a sex and relationships therapist and coach, seeing clients virtually all over from my home office. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients. So if that sounds fun to you, you want more of me, maybe you're ready to go beyond tarot, start doing some like intense self-work, inner work, come get a free consultation where we can chat about how I can support you as a therapist or coach. And you can find any of the links for these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so this is our last episode of season 14, where I've been answering all your frequently asked tarot questions. And today is how do I read tarot intuitively? And like I said, I'm sort of weaving intuition throughout this podcast episode because to me, witchcraft, magic, tarot, a lot of other divination methods, even just like being a connected, intuitive person, it's all about tapping into, I think, like your inner source, your inner knowing, and knowing that actually you have all the answers that you need. We have, at least in my belief, sort of all the tools we need. Sometimes we meet people or we come upon resources or we find a tarot deck or we see a piece of art or someone shares an experience or something with us. And I believe all of those come at just the right moment as this part of intuition. And I think that learning how to read tarot intuitively really like cracks open using tarot as a tool for transformation, as I talked about, as I'm going to be deep diving with a group of folks starting at the end of September. Because there's a lot of ways to memorize tarot. There's a lot of tarot readers you can go to, but I think the real power is in figuring out how to, tap into your own knowing and use tarot as a sort of like a mirror to reflect back to you the things that are important right now, what you need to listen to, any symbols that are important to you that may be coming from your ancestors, your guides, your any deities or gods or goddesses that you like to work with, just or from the universe, however that feels right to you. And I just think that that's so important. So I was trying to hilariously look in a bunch of my tarot books about how do I explain how to read tarot intuitively. And of course, this is sort of ironic because part of what is intuitive is that it has to feel right for you. You can't just necessarily copy what works for someone else. I think for so many of us that find tarot, witchcraft, divination, magic, working with nature, doing rituals, spells, anything like that, looking at the full moon, worshiping the moon, is that we have come sort of from this place of learning in a traditional educational system, in a very structured environment where we were just taught that if you have the answers or if you find the answers and you regurgitate them, great, check, done, you get an A, right? At least in the US education system, at least in my experience, especially in the K through 12 education system. It took me, I would say, all the way until like graduate school. So 12 years, K through 12, plus I guess 13 years, because kindergarten, plus 4 years of undergrad, right? So we're going on to, 17 years by that point. And then 2.5 years of grad school, until I started actually raising my hand in class, right? Like actually contributing, because I was so scared of being wrong. I was so scared of not having the right answers, being made fun of, having other people question my beliefs or my thought process or anything like that. And I just feel like a lot of the ways that I have learned to embody like myself, my own confidence, and knowing what is like right for me going forward, what I believe allowed me to find this land that I've moved on to and this beautiful home that I'm in, to create the farm that I really want to have and like the life that I want to lead, to running my own business, to jumping into this like all tarot all the time lifestyle that I currently have since the beginning of 2025, probably a little earlier, but doing the podcast, right? I'm creating 5 episodes a week. Each episode takes about an hour minimum for me to record and create, and sometimes script or reach out to people or create social media or post things. Like, it's a lot of hours of my time. And in having been on other people's podcasts or having guests recently start coming on my podcast, which you'll be hearing soon, which will be very exciting, are that people are like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, well, I feel very supported with my intuition and with the universe. It feels like this very reciprocal give and take, where I have felt like I've started listening. I can, for myself, I feel like I know what's right for me, and I don't really, I'm working on not really caring what other people think of that, or how scary that is for them, or what they create in their own anxiety patterns. Or even with this land, I've shared with people that like, I'm going to create this farm. I'm going to have this land. I'm going to have this wonderful home that fits my life and allows me to expand and be in the woods and be in nature and be more in tune with myself and with literal nature, with the woods, with the coyotes and the bugs and the snakes and the birds and the trees and everything around, because I believed that it would happen. I think working with the tarot has allowed me, I've shared before, I don't necessarily think that like it tells the future, but I am starting to really fully believe and understand the practice of the things that I need will come to me, things will work out for me, that spirit, universe, gods or goddesses, whoever you believe, that there is a plan and that I will get these things that I feel like I've been learning about and dreaming of putting a lot of knowledge towards, working on a lot of other things and skills in order to create that in the future. And I have just felt that about this land and the farm. And of course, there's things I have to do in the material world, like look for homes and places, go to them, right? Save money, create time in my work schedule to do tarot podcasts, even though currently right now I am doing this mostly for fun. Like, I love doing it. I'm not like making a ton of money off of it, or very little at all. It's allowing me to have people get to know me, promote other things that I'm working on that are paid offers. But it also has just been this like very reciprocal practice where I felt like I got the download last year of, okay, I'm going to create this podcast. And for a long time, for months, I was floundering about like, who's going to be my co-guest? What is it going to be about? What do I call it? And eventually, in kind of meditation last October, November, maybe even early December, I got this sort of download from the universe that was like, you're going to do it every day, and it's called Everyday Tarot, and you're going to do it for a whole year. You're going to commit to it, and you're going to do it on your own, which I think was very scary for me at the time. Most of the podcasts I listen to have, at the very least, guests on, but very often co-hosts, multiple hosts, to allow them to share the workload. But this has been the sort of practice for myself in how to do something on my own to create this sort of body of work by doing all of this practice all the time, and like speaking aloud, sharing the knowledge that I feel like I have gleaned or understood, some of the books that I have. Anyway, let's get this back to the tarot. But I just believe that right, learning how to either like tap into your intuition, read tarot intuitively, which again I see as like, you look at the cards, you look at what symbols are on them, you look at what you know about the archetype of the card, you look at the feeling that it gives you in that moment. What does it make you think of? Do you get any images in your mind? Do you start thinking of a certain person or something you saw recently? All of those I think are our intuition, allowing us to reflect back on what I believe like we need to learn or hear or know, because again I think the tarot allows us to tap in this again wonderful reciprocal way with the universe about what we need to hear or what needs to be shared or what we need to keep in mind. So that's going to be what I'm thinking about as we dive in and see what the cards have to say today. And I'm pulling from my Norse Goddess Rune Oracle by Rebecca Joy Stark and illustrated by Sharon McLeod. My newest deck here that I just got last week. Okay, I had a card fall out, so we're gonna see what that is. Ooh, I kept having this image of a tree earlier as I was creating this podcast, and I pulled a card that has a tree on it. It's the Berkana, the birch goddess, about growth, birth, and renewal. And she is like a tree creature, it almost looks like here. So let's see here. So I'm going to look in the book, right? I'm going to read a little bit and then I'm going to share what I think this is about. It says, I am birch goddess, the first growth in the spring. I am the mother. New life do I bring, nurturing, healing, growth in many ways. May Berkana bring blessings for all of your days. Birch goddess, the personification of the birch tree, blossoming with new life within. The loving mother, providing new growth and nourishing a new beginning. And the beloved tree of the fairies who encircle her in a fairy mushroom ring. So in the divination meaning, Berkana is the rune of growth, meaning birch. Literally, it represents the birch tree, the first tree to show signs of life at the end of the harsh Scandinavian winter. The birch tree symbolizes the beginning of spring, a time of rebirth and renewal. The rune suggests a period of growth for you, a renewal where you shake off the old and step into the new. It is a new beginning, a time of healing and allowing yourself to flourish. And I believe that, again, if you found this podcast episode, if you've been tuning into the tarot and yourself, this is what our intuition brings us. It allows us to, right, heal and find things where we can, edges where we can grow. And I believe that the tarot supports us through that process. Of course, this is an oracle deck, but to me, I'm like speaking from the same place. Berkana is the mother rune. It can represent yourself as a mother figure, your own mother, or a mother in your life. It also embodies the mother-like qualities of caring, nurturing, and helping others. She is giving, generous, kind, and loving, filled with warmth and compassion. Berkana is shaped like a pregnant mother and alludes to birth, pregnancy, or rebirth in a spiritual sense. As the female fertility rune, it encompasses the blessings of pregnancy, birth, and the healing qualities of the nourishment shared between mother and baby. Spend time on your own well-being, show love to your inner child, and nourish your body and soul. Now is the time for growth. The dormant caterpillar, felt trapped by its cocoon, is now ready to emerge as the beautiful butterfly, right? So throughout this process, whatever it may look like, you have been marinating, you've been in your cocoon, right? You've been in this transformation process, right? And now we're starting to emerge. We're going to see what comes out of this. We're going to see what we turn into. We're going to see what is next in this cyclical nature of the life that we lead. All right, and I love the imagery. So make sure you're going to my website, CamilleSaunders.com/everydaytarot, or checking it out on my Instagram. I have all of them in posts, but also on stories, to check out this beautiful card, because it is a very special card that I hope that you get to check out. All right, so yeah, if you want to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, learning more of how to tap into your intuition through the first 12 cards of the major arcana, The link is in the show notes to check that out. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday, for all of 2025. So you can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com, with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.